How we doing, guys? Today we have an update on the Uber Eats carjacking. We're going to be looking at the root source of what I could find for this video at the Washington Post. I was reading New York Post, some other sources, and they all linked back to this article. So we're going to take a little walk through. Here we go. Prosecutor to offer plea deals for girls 13 to 15 accused in fatal DC carjacking. So it looks like they're going to be offered some plea deals. Let's see what they are. So lawyers for two teenage girls charged as juveniles in the fatal carjacking of a food delivery driver in Washington, D.C. will soon receive a plea bargain offer from a prosecutor, although a trial in the case remains possible, if not likely, according to decisions in court on Wednesday. Appearing via video, the girls looked silently as defense lawyers and a prosecutor from the D.C. Attorney's General Office talked about next steps. The prosecutor, Bonnie Lindemann, gave no indication that her office is contemplating an attempt to transfer the older girl's case to adult court, as DC law would allow under certain circumstances. So they have two options, either in juvenile court or adult court. It's looking like they may be tried in juvenile court. Understandably so, they are juveniles, but I'd like to understand what these circumstances are more. Probably murder, some extreme cases. As for the younger girl, she could not be prosecuted as an adult in Washington, D.C. for any crime because of her age. Okay, so it looks like the 13-year-old is safe in juvenile court, whereas the 15-year-old is on the fence as of what we're reading. So when Lubovitz and Lindelman, sorry about the pronunciation, whether she had given defense lawyers proposed plea agreements for the girls, the prosecutor replied, "No, not yet. We expect to be able to do that in the next day or two." Whether these proposals will lead to a resolution in the case remains to be seen. The defense attorney said that they have yet to thoroughly review the evidence against their clients, which they must do before deciding how to proceed. The girls who were allegedly armed with a stun device are accused of carjacking a Honda Accord owned by 66-year-old Uber Eats driver who was thrown out of the vehicle during the crash. I mean, innocent until proven guilty, but there's a video of it. Wonder how the word allegedly works there. So, a DC police detective said in court last week that the victim, Mohammed Anwar, a Pakistani immigrant who lived in Northern Virginia, was struggling with one of the girls, hanging outside her car. So let's see what happened here. So the girls are charged, or let's see what's going on from a court perspective, because we've already covered the incident. I'll link those videos in the description. The girls are charged with felony murder, carjacking, armed robbery, and other offenses. The Washington Post typically does not identify youths who are being prosecuted as juveniles. The two have pleaded not involved, which is the equivalent of not guilty in juvenile court. There's no way under DC law for authorities to prosecute a 13-year-old as an adult, even for murder, according to a manual on superior court procedures published by the city's public defender service. The 15-year-old girl is possible to be transferred to adult court in a murder case, but the burden is heavy for prosecutors, which I can't imagine that the burden of proof here would be hard to achieve, but I am no lawyer myself. The focus of juvenile court is on rehabilitation and not punishment. A youth who is 15 can be prosecuted in an adult court only with judge's permission. To gain that approval, authorities have to show that the case was kept in juvenile court. There would be no reasonable prospects for rehabilitation. The law includes a list of factors about a 15-year-old background that a judge has to consider before ruling requests transfer to an adult court. Whether the 15-year-old accused carjacker has a personal history that might warrant a move to transfer her to an adult system is not publicly known. Then they talk about some other hypotheticals here. And this is what's interesting here. Even the lexicon of juvenile court is different from adult. The two girls are considered respondents and not defendants. After a trial, if youths are found responsible, meaning guilty, they can be held in juvenile detention facility only until age 21, even in the case of a murder. If deemed rehabilitated, they can be freed much sooner. So these kids might, and they are kids, might be tried as juveniles. Worst case scenario, they'd be in jail till they're 21. So 6 and 8 years respectively. Or they could even be deemed rehabilitated and get out even sooner. Basing his testimony on witness statements and video recordings, Leo said that Anwar wound up standing outside his car with the 15-year-old in the driver's seat and the other girl in front of the passenger. Poor guy was trying to get into his car, and they, hit the shifter, took off, allegedly stun gunned him. I don't know. It's just a real sad story. So anyway, I wanted to give everybody a follow-up here. It was one of my most viewed videos, so I figured I'd put this out there and maybe keep it up. Take care, guys. Thanks for joining.